Hello and welcome to LightPilot. This is a clone-ready busking template. Before we start with the console, I would like to explain some of the theoretical concepts of the show file. I put some limitations. I would like to be ready with the show after 60 minutes. This means when the patch is done, we got 60 minutes time to make a show. If we got more time, we can do some special things, we can fine adjustments, but we're ready after 60 minutes. And I think that's a very important thing, because in a lot of venues, especially in festivals, you don't have time. Time always is our enemy. Then I also would like to have the possibility to run the show with just one fader ring and one programmer ring. This means the 15 faders here of the fader ring and 6 more faders of the programmer ring. Also, it should be compatible with the on-PC version and operational with only one screen. If you got 2 screens, fine. If you got 2 fader rings or more, also fine. It's more comfortable, but you can run this show file with a laptop with just one screen and a 16 to 20 MIDI fader ring. So it's a very, very basic concept. It is adaptable to almost all kinds of fixtures, and I'm focusing only on the design lights. And with design lights, I mean backlights. Everything that is creating the emotion of the show. So here are no front lights, side lights, fog machines and strobes in the template, because you can make this on the fly very fast in a venue. For this, I'm separating all the fixtures I got in 4 groups of lights: spot, beam and wash. And the 4th group is the group where all other lights come in. If you got LED bars, hybrid, flash, whatever, it comes in the last group. Then very, very important for good busking is the muscle memory. I would like to have the same look for all light groups. Here for this I made a color coding. And yeah, I started the main show file with a standard rig. And it's clonable for almost all venues. Okay, let's take a look. The whole rig is here. That's, let's say, the back truss, and here's the mid truss. Later you can adapt it to more trusses or less trusses, no problem. Here we got our spots, and totally we got 16 spots. Then we got some beam lights, 1 row of beam lights in the back truss and another row as floor lights. Some wash lights, they're in the back truss and the center truss. And some LED lights. And the LED lights also could be another kind of light. Everything that's emitting light with RGB, CMI, whatever. Here is the template rig I made. You can see here the color coding I made. And that's a coding I'm gonna use later also in the show file. All the spots are red. Later they got red buttons. The beam lights are blue. Here it's a bit of kind of cyan. The wash lights are green, and our LED lights are this kind of violet magenta color. We got in total 8 spotlights on the back truss and 8 in the center truss. Then we got a beam lights, 6 in the back truss and 6 on the floor. Here another 16 of wash lights and 8 LED lights. Now let's take a look at our faders. Here is the fader ring. I keep the 6 faders on the programmer ring empty. These faders are reserved for everything that you have to do on the fly, on the show, in the venue, like front lights, strobe, fog, or whatever there is. The concept here with the faders, I made a group master for our spots, for our beam, for our wash and for our LED lights. Then as you can see, here's the same color, red. This is associated with the spotlights. Here you can control the movement effects of the spotlights. Here the same with the beam lights, movement effects of the beam lights. And here the movement effects of the wash lights. I call it contra. Here's a intensity speedmaster, a movement speedmaster, and here is a strobe speedmaster. it's not for strobe lights, it's for strobe effects with all our other lights. And then I made here an offset for the spots, an offset for the beam, and an offset for our wash lights. Here is a zoom for our spotlights and a zoom for our wash lights. I'm gonna explain everything later on the video when we put hands on our show file. Okay, here's our main control, and I tried to make it very symmetrically. It's the same look for almost all kind of fixtures. Let's start here with the spots. Here you got positions for the spotlights. There are intensity effects. And here are movement effects. And of course a color picker. And I'm not using the traditional system of color picker to make different lines and rows for all lights. I would like to have them here straight under the positions and the movements, so we got one block controlling everything for the spotlights. Then here we got 4 gobos, or let's say 3 gobos and an open gobo. Here we got 2 prism effects and a frost, and here we deactivate the prism and the frost. And the same we made for the spotlights are here now with our beam lights. Also again the positions, the intensity effects, the movement effects, the colors, and here the beam and gobo control. The wash lights also the same, but we don't have a spot or a beam control. And finally our LEDs. The LEDs only got the chases, intensity chases, and different colors. Now we go to the left side. Here is a control for all fixtures, all colors at the same time. And here's a quick access to our executor time. This affects, for example, the colors here, or the individual colors of our groups, or the positions. It's actually affecting almost everything, not the gobos or the beams. And then we got here on the lower part a general control. Here's a reset button. If we press this reset button, we go back to a predefined position, or let's say a general look. Here we can turn off all intensity effects, and here we can turn off all movement effects. Now let's put them together, the main control and the faders. And here, before we're gonna start with the console later, I explain the concept, how it is connected. Okay, the positions you choose right away here. There are group masters, so if the group masters are down, you won't see anything. The spot intensity, the lights are always full as long as you're not choosing one of the other effects, intensity effects. For example, you could choose an intensity effect with the general master down, then you lift it up and you got the effect straight away. The movement effects, whenever you choose a movement effect, it is copying this movement effect to this fader, or it's loading it into the fader, and as soon as you lift up the fader, this effect will be on the fader. Important is before you choose a movement effect, the fader has to be down to be able to load. These faders are temp faders, so you're affecting the size of your movement effect. The same thing here with the beam. It's loading here the movements, and the wash movements are loaded to this fader. Here is the general control of the intensity effects of all of them. Same for the movement effects, controlling all movement effects. Now I jump here to this one. Here's the offset for our spotlights. The offset is a temp fader. It goes from the position where you're right now to the up positions of our spotlights. The up positions is programmed as the typical over the head of the audience position. Same as here for the beam and for the wash lights. And here is the zoom, adjusting the width of the beam, of the zoom and the wash lights. A few executor buttons also are assigned. Here we got a strobe effect with our lights, not with a strobe fixture, but with our lights. This is a white strobe simultaneously. Here it's a simultaneously strobe with the colors you selected here. And here's an alternating strobe with the colors you selected here. And you can adjust the velocity, you can adjust the speed of the strobe with this button. And last not least, we got some bump buttons to make nice bump effects.